Hello everyone. This story is about, what if Naruto was saved by the Daimyo and became his Harbinger? After saving Naruto, the Daimyo appoints teachers who help Naruto become the Daimyo's eyes and ears in Konoha. A place the Daimyo himself is not sure deserves to exist after what it had done to Naruto. Please like, share and subscribe. Now let's start. Naruto panted, as he walked carefully on the wooden poles while blindfolded, and readied his bow staff for another assault by the shinobi monk in position to strike. At the moment, he was shirtless, wearing grayish GI pants the other shinobi monks wore, and his wrists tapped near his elbow. What was once a short, scrawny, and malnourished child was now a young warrior with lean muscle from years of constant training under his belt. At the moment, he was going through one of the many exercises at the fire temple, which were insane at first, but now after 5 long years of constant training, this was a walk in the park. And one of the boy's favorite pastime. When Naruto wasn't training with the monks, he was training with Itachi, who had proved to be an interesting sensei, as he believed in not fighting unless necessary. And for a noble cause greater than himself. Something Itachi felt was what the Yondaime Hokage believed in, and Naruto agreed was true too. Kyuubi didn't like the idea of an Uchiha being so close, making his thoughts known to Naruto with the blonde ignoring them for now, and focus on the man's training exercises. "Steady Naruto," said Bansai, seeing the boy dodge a strike before blocking another and moving quickly blocked another hit aimed for the back of his head. Jumping into the air, Naruto landed on a wooden pole 5 down from his now previous position, and instantly sensed a shinobi monk trying to take the ground out from under him. Leaping to another wooded pole, the blonde felt the movement of the staff from the enemy staff below his feet before it could hit. And soon found himself in the enemy trap to attack him from nearly all sides. The shinobi monks attacked swiftly, decisively, and landed a few hits of the own on Naruto, despite his best efforts in blocking them. And they didn't hold anything back either. Still, Naruto had gotten through the pain when he first started this, and ignored it to keep pressing on until an opening appeared from a missed strike. Leaping away from his foes, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki expanded all his senses, and found some of the enemy moving to force him back into the trap. However, Naruto was not one to be trapped more than once, as struck back against several of them, hearing the cries of pain and surprise at the change in his tactics. Others soon came at him so he couldn't catch his breath, but Naruto held his ground, and successfully repelled his enemy from his person. "That's enough," said Bansai, seeing the shinobi monks obey and Naruto doing so several seconds after the command to ensure it wasn't a trick. Removing his blindfold, Naruto wiped the wetness from his forehead, and looked down at his exposed torso to see the bruises there already fading. Shizune had given him a full medical exam the moment she arrived, wanting to see just how malnourished his body had been. And wasn't surprised to see his body had only just begun recovering from such a thing. She was glad the shinobi monks had begun countering the problem and was a little on guard when seeing Itachi at the fire temple. However, after the Uchiha prodigy explained his purpose, Shizune was more at ease, and watched Naruto's training with a careful eye. "How did I do, Bansai-sensei?" said Naruto, as he leaped down from the training platform with the greatest of ease, and saw the old monk smile approvingly at him. "Good. Though you have to still be mindful of your surroundings." "You got hit quite a few times," said Bansai, seeing Naruto nod in understanding. "I know. But if I'm going to be great one day, I have to put myself in situations where I might be attacked and hurt on all sides," said Naruto, with Bansai nodding, since there were cases where shinobi could be surrounded on all sides by the enemy. "True. Now go get cleaned up and dressed, my boy. Chiriku will be escorting you to the fire capital to see the daimyo and for sword practice," said Bansai, with Naruto nodding with excitement. But a controlled excitement, with his energy being more focused and mature for his age. "Yes, Bansai-sensei. Will I be training with Hajime Saito again?" said Naruto eagerly, since the samurai was a man that embraced the ideal of the samurai. "I don't know. Possibly. I must admit, we were all surprised when you asked to take up his sword style, since you're not left-handed." "Why is that?" said Bansai, with the blonde just grinning. "It throws the enemy off. They see a right-handed guy and don't expect him to use the sword with his left hand," said Naruto, with Bansai liking that concept. "I see. Interesting idea, my boy. It will serve you well in the future," said Bansai, with the boy nodding and running off to get ready. "He's grown so much in the past 5 years. It's almost hard to imagine," said Chiriku, as the shinobi monk and a member of the Guardian 12 walked over to Bansai to see the boy head to his room. "Yes. That boy has the power to change the world." For good or for ill, said Bansai, as he saw the potential the boy had when they first started to train him with the bow staff, and was impressed with the child's adaptation skills. It will be his choice to make in that regard. All we can do is make sure he is strong enough to take the journey down life's complex road, said Chiriku, as he had several talks with Asuma, which turned into heated arguments about the boy. And how the third Hokage wanted the child back in Konoha. Apparently, the third Hokage, the councils, and various other factions in Konoha felt the boy should stick to one path that allowed Konoha to prosper while others suffered for it. But the shinobi monks at the fire temple knew better, as they had seen the boy's sheer potential, and knew it would be selfish to let such a thing not be shared by all those in need of it. The Sandaime Hokage looked at everyone in the room attending this meeting and knew the past 5 years had not been wonderful for the village. Far from it. After his return to Konoha, the Hokage convened a meeting with everyone, and informed them of what had happened with the fire daimyo. As expected, the meeting room went into an uproar, and various members on the councils demanded Naruto be returned to Konoha, to be killed. Others called for the boy to be interrogated and imprisoned for trying to manipulate the daimyo with his demonic influence. They would not stand for the boy's actions that had drawn the feudal lord's eyes toward the village, which the Sandaime had spent a great deal of time and effort in preventing by assuring the fire daimyo he could run Konoha without assistance. Now the fire daimyo thought otherwise if the past 5 years was any indication. It took roughly an hour for the Sandaime to quiet the voices down before telling them that the fire daimyo was less than pleased with the village and the audit being performed had revealed more unpleasant things that would soon bring down the feudal lord's wrathful hand. Apparently, the audit revealed Konoha spending more money than they apparently had on record. And a redirection of funds in various places had been discovered leading to Danzo's private security force. The Sandaime had officially disbanded the group for some time and had reintegrated all the shinobi in the program into normal shinobi ranks befitting their skill level. At the same time, the Sandaime allowed Root under his former rival's command using this excuse provided that Root protected Konoha, and Danzo never used these shinobi to undermine his authority. However, the audit revealed the program to be very much active, under a new title to get it conveniently around the Sandaime's order. And thus any action by the daimyo at the moment on where the money was being sent. The feudal lord was less than pleased since Root was still Root no matter how Danzo dressed it up, and the daimyo ordered that the Sandaime's former rival be forbidden from having any such force under his command. The old war hawk was silently fuming over that for days if not weeks after, since all of his shinobi were unable to move from the shadows under his direct command or else he would be executed for treason. The auditing of Konoha's financial records had also revealed that both the civilian and shinobi council had members in the two groups pilfering the funds from the Shinobi Academy account. The result of this had been the severe cutbacks on various programs and ultimately caused the Shinobi Academy to produce shinobi not up to par with the older generation. Academy students weren't told how severe a life of a shinobi was, but rather the glory and history Konoha had since its founding. They became unprepared for the hardships that came with being a ninja, with their senseis having to pick up the slack if they graduated after taking the real test. When Tsunade and Jiraiya returned to Konoha after their own chewing out from the fire daimyo, many were ecstatic about having the two Sannin back in the village. At least until they learned of the feudal lord of Fire Country ripping into them about their own neglect of their duties as Naruto's godparents. When they told the Sandaime of their given punishment, the Hokage sighed in defeat, knowing that any chance of finding and extracting Naruto from the fire daimyo's grasp was not possible. If anyone could have found the boy before retrieving him, it would have been Jiraiya, but the fire daimyo had basically threw the Sannin into the largest prison in all of Fire Country, that was Konoha, and told him to stay there until otherwise commanded. That was 5 years ago. Word of what happened regarding the fire daimyo's disapproval, Konoha reached various ears of influential people and clientele, with many questioning their decision to employ the services of Leaf Shinobi. It put a significant dent in the budget, as the fire daimyo was redirecting the mismanaged funds away from Konoha to the Namikaze and Uzumaki clan accounts while taxing the village heavily overall for their actions against the boy. Everyone was feeling the financial hit, while many in Konoha wondering what they had done to deserve this action by the fire daimyo. Many blamed Naruto, of course, but with the country's feudal lord supporting the boy, it was impossible to find and punish the Kyubi Jinchuriki in their own way. Ironically, the actions of the fire daimyo had made the Uchiha clan think twice about the coup. They wanted to perform against the Hokage and take over Konoha, since the village was now under the feudal lord's ire. To take it over now or any time soon would just make the Uchiha clan a target for the fire daimyo to remove the village off the face of the map. Plus, with Itachi training Naruto, the boy could put in a good word with the fire daimyo about Uchiha Fugaku's eldest child and get in the man's good graces. As you know, it's been 5 years since Uzumaki Naruto was taken from Konoha by the Fire Daimyo, and discovered our actions against the boy. My son Asuma, who is one of the Guardian 12, was allowed to send me a message, and inform us that Naruto will be returning to Konoha soon, said the Sandaime with many perking up at this news. Good. The sooner we subdue and beat the demon into the ground again the better, said a member of the civilian council, while the clan heads shook their heads, knowing that such an act would sign the village's death warrant. That's not possible. I have been informed Naruto will be coming to Konoha to examine the village in its entirety. That includes the people and how they will react to him being back in the village. Not only that, but the boy is going to be made an official shinobi, but under the Fire Daimyo's direct command, and cannot be commanded by myself upon his arrival, said the Sandaime with many cursing this fact, since they hoped that when the boy was made a shinobi they could have the Hokage force the child into submission with his authority. So we just let him walk around without any action being taken, said Hamura, as he didn't agree with this at all, and saw Danzo, gripping his cane tightly. Not surprising, since the man had lost practically everything from the Fire Daimyo audit and barely kept his position on the councils at all. There is nothing we can do, Hamura. Uzumaki Naruto is under the protection and direct command of the Fire Daimyo, said the Sandaime Hokage, with many on the councils not liking this one bit. We would not be in this situation had you been straight with us from the start, Hiruzen, said Inoichi, with the Hokage stiffening at what the man was referring to about Naruto's parentage. Hold your tongue, Yamanaka. You have no right to speak so disrespectfully to him like that, said Koharu, seeing the Yamanaka raise an eyebrow at her. And why should I be respectful to him? Why should any of the clan heads in this room be respectful? This man lied to us. He told us that Naruto was a no-named orphan. How his last name was given in honor of Kushina, and that was that. When we asked about the boy's father, he told all of us in this very room that Naruto's father was dead, and refused to give a name. He implied the boy was an illegitimate child from some nameless woman from one of the seedy areas of Konoha, said Inoichi, seeing the Hokage looking away from him. You made the people of Konoha believe Naruto deserved to only get the scraps of food he ate out of the garbage. Don't think I'm exaggerating about that. I know, because that's what he did at my home one night when he was 5 years old, said Chiza heatedly at the Sandaime, while the old Kage stayed silent. He wasn't exactly thrilled to trust others in Konoha either, thanks to the attacks made by all the troublesome morons in this village. My wife tried to take him in one night. That was one of the coldest nights we had on record, but he took off running into the darkness, and chose the bitter cold over her help. He actually felt safer in that weather than being a guest in the home of his fellow villagers. What does that tell you? Said Shikaku, finding the actions of this village to be a real eye-opener. That brat deserves to suffer after all we've lost, said Haruno Midori, who was a civilian councilwoman, and had long since despised Uzumaki Kushina for snagging Minato. Many years ago, Midori during her academy days had dreamed of finding herself living a life of luxury despite seeking a career as a shinobi, and saw that future with Namake's Minato, due to his skills one day being that of a prodigy. Midori knew Minato would one day be a shinobi destined for greatness, and tried during the years to get him interested in her. However, the future Yondaime Hokage did not embrace such flirtatious advances from Midori, and instead became interested in the red-haired freak with a temper that was Uzumaki Kushina. It was then Midori tried to remove Kushina altogether, as she had heard Kumo was interested in the woman due to her bloodline limit, and decided to get rid of her by leaking information to them, knowing they would act on it. The plan had been to remove the red-haired Uzumaki and nab Minato in a moment of weakness she expected the man to feel at losing Kushina. Unfortunately, Minato had not crumbled like she thought, and had actually gone after the bitch, with the two falling even deeper in love. It was at that point, Midori had given up being a shinobi, and decided for a more administrative-based position within the Leaf that would favor her in being very close to Minato. The new plan involved she worm her way into Minato's heart, then his pants, and finally his fortune by seducing him to the point where Midori would give birth to his first child, so the man would have to marry her. She would suffer through 9 long months of pregnancy, live with Minato for a few years, divorce him, and basically get paid child support in her dream house paid for by her future ex-husband's money. Unfortunately, Kushina had once again beat her by marrying Minato first, and then had becoming pregnant with the man's child. When the Sandaime told everyone the boy's name, Midori knew right away it was Minato's child, but the fact Kushina was the boy's mother, and not herself, had made the pink-haired woman irate inside. Hence why she had moved for the boy's immediate death, as Midori was going to see that Kushina's child was killed somehow, and being the Kyubi Jinchuriki was the perfect excuse. Sadly, the old Kage wouldn't have it, clearly for long-term reasons he wouldn't divulge, and Midori decided to make the boy's life a painful one to further spite Kushina. Now it seemed the gods above were once again conspiring against Midori to prevent her from getting revenge against Kushina for bagging Minato. Lost? You didn't lose anything. You wailed and cried about your home being damaged when we all know it was one of the few buildings to come out intact. Why you even got a nice sum of money is beyond me, said Sum angrily with Midori glaring back at her. Go chase a cat, said Midori, as she had used that money to redesign her home in certain areas, and felt a good deal of satisfaction in using money from the Uzumaki clan account to make it happen. Until the Fire Daimyo's audit took money from her bank account equal to the amount taken from the Uzumaki clan account to properly reimburse Naruto for taking it from him. For Midori, she felt Naruto was not worthy of such wealth, and felt such a fortune belong in her capable hands. Why should some demon child be entitled to such money when a more worthy and capable person could manage the funds? Midori wouldn't stand for it. Enough. Naruto will be arriving sometime next week. I expect everyone in Konoha to be civil and polite to him. If we don't turn the Fire Daimyo and Naruto's opinion of us around, we may lose all funding with our enemies coming to finish us off. I don't need to remind you of how the rest of the world has adopted a similar view after several things were brought to light by the Inquisition made by our feudal lord, said the Sandaime. As he saw the various people in the room shift uncomfortably in their seats, and knew the leaf was on thin ice at the moment. One false step and they would fall through. Naruto stood across from his teacher Hajime Saito. Both had swords at the ready, as the Fire Daimyo, Chiraku, Bansai, Itachi, and Shizun watched them intently to see how this match would go. Saito had been Naruto's teacher in the way of the samurai 2 years after training with the shinobi monks at the Fire Temple in order for the boy to learn how to channel his energy properly while learning patience. Saito himself was a samurai of extreme discipline, who many said was the pure embodiment of Bushido, and did not take a student unless they showed great potential. Saito saw that potential in Naruto, as the two met at the Fire Daimyo's request. And the Kyubi Jinchuriki was honored to meet the man many claimed was in many aspects the samurai equivalent of the Yondaime Hokage himself. Naruto trained under Saito rigorously since then, as he balanced his training with the shinobi monks, Itachi, and finally the master samurai warrior himself. They started off simple, as all students must, and trained using kendo sticks with Naruto being more on the receiving end of their matches. When they weren't sparring, Saito taught Naruto the principles of Bushido, how samurai embraced enlightenment like monks do, but unlike monks a samurai stains his hands bloody like shinobi do. And at the same time, keep their honor by only drawing their swords in the name of their daimyo when the time calls for it. Saito believed that if monks are on one side that was light, shinobi were on the other in shadowy darkness, then samurai were in the middle between them. And keeping an eye on both sides to ensure neither one moved against the daimyo. Clang. Saito's and Naruto's swords clashed violently against one another. Each one trying to push the other back with Saito slowly winning and Naruto moving to his right to make the samurai warrior's own momentum be used against him. However, Saito shifted his stance and went left when Naruto moved right. The two clashed against each other, trying to get an advantage over the other, but neither one was succeeding, and both had very close calls. Their swords had cut through their opponent's clothing, hair, and flesh, though minor cuts at best. Enough, said the Fire Daimyo when both of them had gone into the Gatatsu stance and knew they were getting serious. Based on my observations when fighting him, Uzumaki Naruto's speed is impressive for someone so young, and his skill with a sword is equally impressive. His level of patience is high, which one needs whether becoming a samurai, shinobi, or a monk, said Saito seeing Naruto bow to his teacher in hearing his praise. Is he ready to face the outside world? Said the Fire Daimyo seeing Saito look at Naruto with an intense analytical gaze. Yes, said Saito after several minutes with Naruto letting out a breath he didn't know was being held back. Do you agree, Itachi? Chiraku, said the Fire Daimyo, seeing both nod. I believe he is ready, said Itachi simply. So do I, said Chiraku seeing Naruto's face showing he was grateful for their opinions of him being so positive. Very well. Uzumaki Naruto. As Fire Daimyo of Fire Country, I hereby declare you to be a shinobi not only of Konoha, but a shinobi under my direct command, and only answer to me. You are trained to be a warrior of light, dark, and a gray middle that allows you to walk these worlds. You will be messenger. My harbinger I send in my name to enforce my will. My eyes and ears of the Leaf Village. The defender of Fire Country and feudal lord. You work in the shadows to serve the light and smite all the evil that threatens us like your parents. Do you accept this great responsibility I have set before you, Uzumaki Naruto? Said the Fire Daimyo seeing the boy now kneeling in front of him. Yes. I will be your harbinger. Your wish is my command, said Naruto before he was handed a shinobi headband, but was different from the Konoha headband the village wore, and saw the key difference right away. It had the fire daimyo symbol instead of the symbol used on for the leaf. Then rise and be recognized by all as my harbinger. Rise and be known as Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. The yin-yang fox, said the fire daimyo with Naruto rising from his kneeling position, his headband now on his forehead, and saw his various senseis giving him a bow of respect. Thank you for the title, Daimyo-sama. I am honored, said Naruto humbly with the fire daimyo, who just smiled at him, and put a comforting hand on the boy's shoulder. You will be given traveling rights to ensure there are no problems with your means of reaching this country's allies to deliver messages. Just because you will be a shinobi under my direct command doesn't mean your missions involve killing people all over, since it would bring about a bad reputation for the both of us. However, I feel your first mission should be inside fire country instead of out, and require your own personal inspection leading up to the Chunin exams being hosted in Konoha this year, said the fire daimyo, with Naruto nodding and understanding what he was saying. And should the end results of my inspection of Konoha be less than encouraging? If they are found wanting, said Naruto with the fire daimyo, frowning slightly. Speak to me in a coded conversation. I'll read between the lines. The phrase for the leaf passing will be, the fire has been purified. The phrase for their failure will be, the fire has been corrupted, and I will order its liquidation soon after, said the fire daimyo, seeing Naruto nod, knowing it was time for Konoha to be judged. He's finally here, said Jiraiya, seeing Naruto walking into Konoha from his position the roof. The brat's lucky the fire daimyo is protecting him right now. I want nothing more than to choke the life right out of that brat, said Tsunade, as she saw Itachi and Shizune also walking with him into Konoha with the people in the village, giving them a wide amount of space. Easy, Tsunadeheim. This isn't a pampered kid we're talking about down there. Look at the way he walks and the look of focus in his eyes. He's been trained to defend himself against any potential enemy. Maybe even against us. Even if you got your hands around his throat, I'd bet the kid would make you work for it, and leave more than a few bruises to remember him by, said Jiraiya, as she saw Naruto heading for the Hokage Tower, and wondered what the Gaki had planned for the Sandaime. Well, I'm going to enjoy seeing the Hokage reprimand Shizune and Itachi. Naruto may be under the fire daimyo's protection, but they aren't, and it's going to be pleasure seeing Sensei rip right into them like the daimyo did to us, said Tsunade before heading to the Hokage Tower with a smirk on her face. Something tells me it won't be that simple, said Jiraiya, though it was more to himself than Tsunade. And Jiraiya was right. It was not that simple. When Naruto entered the Hokage's office, his escort of Itachi and Shizune stayed outside so to stay away from the Hokage. The Namikaze instantly handed the Sandaime a message scroll with the fire daimyo's seal and simply said, read it, before the Kage could even say anything to him. Upon reading the message, the Sandaime Hokage let out a tired sigh of defeat, and nodding to the boy that he understood the order given. Curious, Jiraiya along with Tsunade entered the room after Naruto left once the Hokage gave the brat a nod, and the toad Sannin read the scroll before his jaw dropped. Dear Hiruzen, if you are reading this, then Konoha has decided to not act recklessly, and tried to harm Naruto like I suspected might happen. In case you are wondering, I have informed the boy of his heritage, and has been aware of what should be rightfully his from the start. You will in no way stop him from living in the Namikaze estates, you will in no way try to manipulate him to be your prized weapon, and you will in no way allow the villagers to hurt Naruto. You will inform the councils, clans heads, and the entire village populace of Naruto heritage if it isn't known already. If your two students so much as try anything violent with him, he has my permission to not only be violent back, but kill them if there is no other recourse. And see to it that you are punished for not stopping either Sannin. The same goes for every shinobi of every rank under your command, as I won't tolerate any of them undermining my authority, and remind your village that it exists only because I allow it. Signed, Fire Daimyo of Fire Country. This was not how I expected things to go when I first put my plan in motion for Naruto, said Hiruzen with Jiraiya reading the note over once, twice, and even 3 times while trying to process this in his head. There is not a plan in the world that can keep an Uzumaki down or even control. I warned you this might happen when I asked after things regarding the Kyuubi attack. Calm down, said Jiraiya, seeing the Sandaime scowl slightly. I know, Jiraiya. You've been reminding me of this for the past 5 years. But I'm not ready to throw in the towel in regards to Naruto. He will serve Konoha, and he will be its weapon in the manner I desire, said the Sandaime firmly to his former student. Careful, sensei. Naruto isn't naive anymore. You can't manipulate him so easily, said Jiraiya, while the Sandaime growled at him. He's still young and I'm not out of the game yet, said the Sandaime before the sound of fighting echoed in the village below. Oh no, said Jiraiya, having forgotten that Tsunade was also in the room, but the female Sannin didn't read the message since was expecting to see Shizen get a scolding from the Sandaime. And prey on the seed of guilt the Hokage would plant. Stop her, Jiraiya. Now, said the Sandaime, seeing Jiraiya leap out of the window to the sound of battle. Hold still, brat, said Tsunade, as she tried to slug the blonde boy right in the face, but Naruto was too small, too agile, and too fast to target to land a decent punch. You are making a mistake in doing this, Tsunade-san. Such behavior is unbefitting for my godmother, said Naruto, with his words enraging the woman further and trying even harder to land a head-exploding punch to the boy's skull. Shut up. You are the reason your mother is dead. Did anyone tell you that? That your mother's dying breath was caused by you taking your first one? No? Well, it was, said Tsunade, hitting the ground while Naruto leaped onto a building, his face unreadable, but his eyes blazed with fury, and narrowed at the blonde Senju before him. You think I don't know what happened that night? Kyubi told me everything. He told me how he was responsible for her death when my father tried to seal him into me. How the fox tried to achieve freedom and not be caged again by trying to kill me, so there was no one to seal him away. I know my mother took the clawed strike that was meant for me that night, said Naruto, as the Kurama had told him everything that happened, and even showed the boy his memories of it. It was hard to take such a moment in when Kurama had revealed the truth of that night and his true name to be Kurama, with Kyubi just being a title. Not that boy was going to reveal that to anyone, except the Fire Daimyo, of course, as the feudal lord needed to be told the truth about this. And keep his teachers in the dark about that should certain forces try to extract information from their minds. If certain parties were to learn about what had happened that night, they might try to find a way to duplicate it regardless if the eyes of the Sharingan were involved. And thus make things worse in the long run should they decide to rip Kurama right out of Naruto's body. And you listened to him? Believed him? That wretched demon, who has slain so many, and been a bane on Konoha, said Tsunade, ripping a pole out of the ground and getting ready to use it like a weapon. Possibly a javelin, from what Naruto could see judging by her stance with it. He's not the one trying to kill me for something that wasn't my fault, said Naruto like he was talking about the weather, and it pissed off Tsunade more. Tsunade, stop, said Jiraiya, as he appeared behind her, and summoned several armored toads that now surrounded her either side. Why? Give me one good reason why I shouldn't crush him right now, said Tsunade, as she continued to look at Naruto, and the boy looked back unafraid. Because if you don't, then the village suffers, and so will Sensei. The Fire Daimyo gave Naruto a message to give Sensei, and it states any attack on him is an attack on the feudal lord of Fire Country. A feudal lord, who owns the lands this village is founded on. And can take the right for this village to be here away, said Jiraiya, with Tsunade struggling right now at the notion of letting Naruto walk away from her without a scratch. Fine. But this isn't over, brat, said Tsunade before dropped the pole and left while she stomped the ground heavily so it shook, so everyone knew her displeasure. Happy, said Jiraiya sarcastically to Naruto after he jumped down to the ground. That's a one-time freebie for the village. The next person who tries that will be slain, and will be a nail in Konoha's coffin, said Naruto before walking away from the Toad Sannin. You're lucky Tsunade didn't kill you, Gaki. One hit from her and you'd be dead instantly, said Jiraiya, with Naruto stopping and looking back at him. No. Tsunade's lucky I didn't go all out and kill her when I could have drawn my sword at any time. I may be young, but for the past 5 years I have been constant training, and honing my skills to one day surpass my father. I intend to see just how far I've become in that regard real soon, said Naruto before he was gone in a swirl of leaves with Jiraiya stunned. Appearing in another section of Konoha, the son of the Yondaime walked through its streets unafraid of its people, and what harm they might try to unleash on him. Many people were glaring, as they recognized him due to his whisker marks, and immediately began whispering curses at him. It was so pathetic in Naruto's mind. He almost felt sad for the fools, but then reminded himself that such an emotion would prevent him from being objective, and influence the overall decision to be made about Konoha's future. If Konoha even had a future. Stopping, Naruto turned to look into an alley to see some kind of fight going on against one person fighting many, and by the looks of things the outnumbered person was losing. Curious, yet cautious all the same, the blonde walked towards the group to find it was a drunk group of Chunin, and one Jounin holding down a single kuniochi. Judging from the vest she wore, the woman was Chunin rank, and was from the Inuzuka clan if the marks on her face were any indication. Walking through the shadows of the alley, Naruto examined his surroundings for this area, engaging how to fight these fools. Dumb bitch. You Inuzuka think you're tough shit. Well, you're not, said the jounin of the group, who was clearly the leader of them, and stunk the most of booze. I'll kill you for this, said the Inuzuka woman, as she was bound by the group, and tried to fight them when they removed the Chunin vest with them hooting like the pigs they were. Even if she's wearing a black tank top under this vest, you can tell this bitch's got some nice tits, and not even a bra. I think she was using the vest as one, said one Chunin, who was holding the vest, and saw it was tightened just for such a purpose. Damn it. I would have worn a bra or bindings if some of the more rowdy dogs didn't go nuts in my room before my last mission, thought the Inuzuka woman, seeing them all laughing now. It makes you wonder if she's wearing any panties, said the Chunin from behind their prey. She's an Inuzuka. Of course not. All the women in the clan are submissive horny bitches that just need a man's cock to put them in their place. Strip her, said the jounin while the Chunin around him moved to do just that when the sound of footsteps were heard from behind them. Have you no shame? Are you that dishonorable? Said Naruto coldly, seeing the group of Chunin and one jounin look at him with snarls on their faces. Back off, brat. This is for adults only. You may have a headband, but you're still a brat, and by the time your body is physically ready, this bitch will already be used up, said the jounin before going back to the Inuzuka and ripped her top open. This is your last chance. Walk away. Walk away or I will make you beg for death, said Naruto while his hand tightened and turned into fists, while the leather fingerless gloves made a noise in the process. You're still here? Get the brat, said the jounin with two of his Chunin buddies moving to remove the blonde from the alley and possibly rough him up elsewhere before getting back in time get their own shot in with their quarry. Fools, said Naruto coldly, as he moved swiftly against the two drunks moving against him, and one's arm while shattering the other's knee before having both their necks in his hands. Hey! Let them go, genin. That's an order, said the jounin while his two Chunin pals were being choked out by this upstart genin. You have no right to command me, worm. I don't answer to a rapist, much less a rapist of jounin rank in this village, said Naruto before the sound of two crushed larynxes echoed in the alley and the blonde dropped them. Get him. First one to kill the brat gets to take this Inuzuka's virgin ass, said the jounin, seeing his other Chunin followers charged forward while the leader of the group held on to the Inuzuka woman painfully by her hair. There is only one thing worse than a fool, and it's a group of blind fools that follow him, said Naruto in an emotionless tone as Uchiha for sensei would be proud to hear. The group of Chunin didn't know what hit them, as Naruto unleashed his wrath upon them all, and struck without mercy. He broke one Chunin's leg in 3 places, followed by the rib cage in 5, and both arms in 6. Another Chunin was hit in the throat with a single punch and was slowly choking to death from the lack of oxygen. Naruto then took out the last 2 Chunin by stabbing them in the legs with kunai, cutting through the tendons of each limb before simply getting behind his foes and then striking their backs with those very weapons. Stay back. Stay back or I'll slit her throat, said the jounin with a kunai to the woman's throat while seeing Naruto looking at him unafraid. You won't kill her, said Naruto calmly while the jounin snarled at him. And what makes you believe that, said the jounin while putting the kunai closer to the Inuzuka's throat. Because the instant you slit her throat, I will have all the time I need to kill you, and it will not be quick. It will be slow. Painful. Every moment of every minute of every second will be that of untold agony. Is that what you want, said Naruto coldly, as he drew his sword, and went into his Gatatsu stance, and saw the jounin was shocked to see it. You're no shinobi. You're a samurai, said the jounin with Naruto smirking at him. No. I'm something else. Look at my headband, said Naruto seeing the jounin doing just that and almost stumbled back from his hostage. That's the symbol for the fire daimyo. You're similar to the guardian 12 sashes, said the jounin seeing the boy smirk in a more wolfish manner. Similar, yet different. I am the harbinger of the fire daimyo. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the yin-yang fox, said Naruto, as he rushed forward faster than the jounin expected, and was stabbed through the arm holding the kunai into the chest area. You are the QB brat, said the jounin while feeling his life fading while he looked at the boy's cold blue eyes. I'm also the son of the yondaime, or didn't my last name make that clear, said Naruto with the jounin looking shocked and hearing this. You? The yondaime's son? That's impossible, said the jounin while blood leaked from the side of his mouth. Hardly impossible. You really think the yondaime would use just any child? Who better to entrust the fox to than his own offspring? His progeny, said Naruto before twisting the blade to make the man cry out in pain before finally slumping to the ground dead. Pulling out his sword, Naruto flicked it clean of the crimson liquid, and then sheathed his weapon before walking over to the downed Inuzuka woman. She was in shock that he had just killed or crippled a group of Chunin and one Jounin in such a short time. What was left of her shirt covered her upper body enough to prevent him from seeing too much of the female body many perverts would get nosebleeds over. But it was clear the blonde wasn't interested in taking over what these rapists started, and freed her arms from their bindings before holding out a hand for her to take. "Thank you for saving me," said the woman as she took his hand, and he easily lifted her off the ground in an instant. "You shouldn't have been put through that," said Naruto, seeing her nod before the area was covered with shinobi in the area. "You are under arrest for assault, murder, and attempted rape of Konoha shinobi," said a female ANBU wearing a Nico mask with her unit at the ready and several other shinobi providing support. Wait. They tried to rape me." "He saved me," said the Inuzuka, while some of the Leaf shinobi looked at each other with skeptical looks. "This kid," said one of the ANBU wearing a hawk mask. "The boy is the rapists. He has the woman under a genjutsu. Kill him. He is the Kyubi," said one of the downed Chunin still alive while trying to crawl away. "Kai," said the Nico-masked ANBU in order to break any genjutsu that may be in the area. "There was none. They tried to rape me. Naruto-san saved me," said the Inuzuka woman again with the Chunin on the ground injured trying to get away even faster. "Here. This should cover you up more," said Naruto handing the woman her Chunin vest. "Thank you, Naruto-san. I'm Inuzuka Hana." "The eldest of the Inuzuka clan matriarch's children," said Hana, as she took the Chunin vest and wore it to cover her upper body. "Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Though you knew that when I killed the Jounin leading the group of rapists," said Naruto with a smirk and Hana smiling at him though there was a hint of a glare behind it. "Smart ass," said Hana though she mumbled it. "We need to file a report about this with the Hokage and the two of you have to come with us," said Nico with Naruto and Hana nodding before heading to the Hokage tower. "Not a bad first day for him, Shizun-san," said Itachi having watched Naruto fight and kill the rapist targeting Hana. They had long since talked to Naruto about his first kill since his training started. Even going so far as to put a genjutsu on the boy where he was attacked and the only way to win was to kill. Itachi even used a blood clone to make it more realistic. It had been a bit nauseating for the boy, but education in the sense of understanding the need to kill your enemy, and at the same time not lose your humanity in the process. It had been a harsh lesson, but one Naruto was thankful to learn now, instead of when the first kill made him want to puke over it. He was combination of shinobi, monk, and samurai with killing being in the job description of 2 out of 3 while the one understood the concept of death being part of the natural order of things. "I suppose death was too merciful for some of those pigs," said Shizun, as she had almost gone down there to beat the life right out of those Konoha shinobi, but Itachi told her Naruto had to do it. Or else the training they had put him through would mean nothing in the long run. Considering the crime they were committing, I doubt the afterlife will be pleasant to any of them, and even less once Ibiki-san unleashes his skills on those still alive," said Itachi with Shizun nodding in agreement. "We better go. Tsunade and Jiraiya are most likely looking for us," said Shizun with Itachi nodding knowing his father was going to be doing the same too. "So Naruto stopped some rapists." "I thank you for that intervention," said the Sandaime with a kind grandfatherly smile. "Save your apologies. The fact such fools exist in this village just proves how far the leaf has fallen. If you were really a strong Hokage, you would have made sure such an act was not possible during the day, and the fact they were intoxicated doesn't excuse them either. You've been letting this village fall from what my father created when he was Hokage of Konoha ever since you came back into this office," said Naruto seeing the Sandaime scowl slightly at him. "Watch your tone, Naruto. I am the Hokage in Konoha. My word is law in this village," said the Hokage in a firm tone while Naruto seemed unaffected and Hana was watching the sudden battle between these two. "And I am the Harbinger of the Fire Daimyo. I am his herald. I enforce his will. His law. He is the highest authority in all of Fire Country and the Leaf Village is in his country. Meaning his word surpasses yours and is the rightful law of the land. So don't try to use your title here to make me do your bidding because it won't work in the slightest. The Fire Daimyo has decreed me beyond your command, control, and coercion in doing what you want me to do. If there is a mission you wish to give with orders to kill 100 ANBU from Kumo, with the outcome being Konoha falling should I fail, I am allowed to turn it down. and not care in the slightest if this village does fall because of that one mission. I work for the Fire Daimyo. Not you, old man, said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime scowl deepen. Be as that may. You are forbidden to kill any more of my shinobi since they are more valuable alive than dead, said the Sandaime despite what the message the Fire Daimyo had written for him to read. If the shinobi in this village commit any more dishonorable acts like that or worse which are not sanctioned missions, then I would have to disagree with you, said Naruto with the old Kage not liking that one bit. By killing them, you weaken Konoha, and ultimately Fire Country, said the Sandaime, seeing Naruto raise an eyebrow at him. Which will be your fault in the long run because you allow such things to happen under your very nose. What punishment would you have given those rapists had I not intervened and they had been caught already violating this woman? Said Naruto, seeing Hana stiffen, knowing that shinobi response time to incidents in the village had been getting slower and it was pure luck the blonde had come to her rescue. They would have been taken to Marino Ibiki, who I'm sure you have heard of, and know he is not someone to cross when sent his way, said the Sandaime, seeing Naruto nod. But he was hardly impressed with the punishment, and in a way, so was Hana. And? Aside from what other punishment would you unleash on them, said Naruto, as he wanted more than just the infamous man of the torture and interrogation department, and something more realistic. I don't know what you mean, Naruto. Ibiki has put people in the mental hospital, said the Sandaime Hokage, seeing the boy scowl. That's not enough. They should be publicly executed, said Naruto simply like it was the easiest answer in the world. That's a bit extreme, Naruto, said the Sandaime, seeing the boy scowl at him now. One of my teachers follows a simple yet strict code. The code he follows is swift death to evil, and that means everyone committing acts evil must be slain, said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime was shocked someone like that had taught the boy. Many in Konoha and on the councils would argue that you should be put to death under that same code, said the Sandaime with Naruto scoffing at him. Then the people in Konoha and your councils don't understand the principle of the code taught to me by my sensei, said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime scowling further. You're talking about killing someone for doing an evil act when they could easily regret it later on. We must show mercy when permitted, said the Sandaime, seeing Naruto now have a deeper scowl of his own. Like the mercy you showed me? Like the villagers showed me? Like the shinobi in the village showed me? My father and mother wouldn't exactly be jumping with joy at what you tried to do, said Naruto with the Sandaime, forcing his face not to make a snarl-like look, though the blonde could see the facial muscles moving to do it before then. Your father and mother entrusted you to me so the village would be protected. I did what I had to do, said the Sandaime, seeing Naruto's eyes become cold like glaciers in the Arctic, with the room suddenly feeling just as cold. Hana was looking between the two and felt like a fly on the wall that shouldn't be here listening to this. She couldn't leave now. Oh, Kami, no. If she so much as moved a hand, a leg, or so much as talked, it would redirect the two in her direction. I feel like I'm in a soap opera, thought Hana, since these two were glaring at each other to the point where she once suspected kunai would shoot out of their eyes. If that were true, then you wouldn't have revealed I was the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and just had me listed as an orphan like all the other children in that place. If what you just said was true, then you wouldn't have had my godparents access to my inheritance, and let the village spend what was not theirs to take from me. Do you think my parents would have wanted that? Do you think they would have tolerated that? Said Naruto, seeing the third Hokage's facial muscles trying to form a snarl now. The village comes first, Naruto. Konoha's survival requires you make sacrifices so that this village stays strong, said the Sandaime, seeing Naruto scoffing at him like he was an idiot. So according to that line of thought, you would agree without question that it's okay for Konoha to survive if it required the entire Sarutobi clan to die horrible, painful, and all-around inhumane deaths. That they should all suffer without being told why, only that they should die, and they should die slowly, said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime scowling at him. That's not what I meant, said the Sandaime with Naruto raising an eyebrow at him. Are you saying that because I'm wrong? Or are you saying that because I used your own family as an example, said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime snarling now. Both, said the Hokage angrily with Naruto just smirking now, while moving to the door to leave. They should call you the hypocrite of shinobi, said Naruto while letting out chuckle at the Sandaime's expense. Watch your mouth, boy. You will respect me while in Konoha regardless of your unique rank, said the Sandaime with Naruto smirk growing. You talk of respect, but I don't see the need to give it to an old hypocrite for a Hokage, and never will despite your desire to control me. I am not this village's personal weapon. I am not your pet. You and the rest of the Leaf Village live at this very moment because I allow it. When my inquisition regarding Konoha is over, the fired daimyo will decide if he should spare the leaf his wrath, or more than likely, burn it down, said Naruto, as he left the room. And ignored the sandaime looking ready to blow a blood vessel in his head. Insolent child. Konoha lives because he allows it? He lived for the first 7 years of his life, because I allowed it. No matter. I will see to it the boy works for Konoha one way or another before making the daimyo regret his interference in taking this village's main weapon away, thought the sandaime before eyeing Hana in the room and realized the entire time he had been talking to Naruto had steered the reason for the boy being there with the Inuzuka. If you'll excuse me, Hokage-sama, but I'm going home now, and speak to my mother about the incident, said Hana before she was gone in a swirl of leaves. Great. Now Tsum will have an interest in protecting Naruto for saving her daughter's life. Thought the sandaime, knowing the Inuzuka clan was not a clan to mess with and anyone they supported had significant sway with the other clans. The sandaime knew with the Inuzuka clan supporting the boy, then the Aburame clan would take an interest too, and it would continue from there until all the clans followed in their footsteps. The Hyuga clan could halt the sway of clan support if he could find a reason to smear Naruto's actions in some way that would earn him scorn from a few of the clans. It would divide the clans in terms of their support of each other and could give those that mattered a sympathetic shoulder to lean on while asking for support on certain matters. Unfortunately, there were no Hyuga in any place in, or out of the village that could be manipulated into scorning Naruto before letting it spread like a disease. But how? Who among the Hyuga clan could possibly provoke the boy and make the damn Uzumaki brat look like villain? Thinking over the list of Hyuga out in the village, who he could use against Naruto, the sandaime found there was only one such Hyuga at the moment, and used the boy to his advantage. His name? Hyuga Niji, rookie of the year from the previous graduating class. All the Hokage needed was an opening where Niji would welcome the idea of fighting and wounding Naruto to the point where the boy would lose face with the daimyo upon the feudal lord seeing how pathetic the boy is without Konoha. That the boy should stay in the leaf and be re-educated so the Kyuubi Jinchuriki could become a proper shinobi instead of this abomination the fire daimyo had created. Whatever Naruto had become was something that the sandaime considered a combination of things that should not be put together and intended to fix that, so the boy was the village weapon the way he saw. The Jinchuriki should have been submissive, loyal, completely dependent on Konoha for everything, and should the boy actually succeed in becoming Hokage, well, the sandaime would have put measures in place before his second attempt at retirement or even death stopped him from making sure Naruto's time being Hokage was a short one. Minato had surpassed him in everything, and at such a young age too. It hurt the third Hokage's pride knowing all he had accomplished leading up to his retirement had been overshadowed by Jiraiya's student during the last Shinobi War. It was not even his own choice to have Minato become the Yondaime Hokage in the first place, despite what many thought about the decision. It had been forced by the people in Konoha when they had learned of the sandaime Hokage seeking to retire and a successor to the title of Hokage being looked into. The sandaime had actually planned to give the title of Hokage to Orochimaru. But the people were openly supportive of Minato during the war, while many felt the Snake Sannin's appearance to be disgusting. And the discovery of the man's twisted experiments had forced his favorite student to flee from Konoha. The Minato wanted to confront Orochimaru himself, but the sandaime convinced the young Hokage it was a matter between a teacher and his favorite student in hopes of resolving things peacefully. Of course, the sandaime had no intention of killing his old student, as the Sannin had been cheated out of something that was rightfully his to have. And he also knew Minato would have killed Orochimaru without hesitation. Orochimaru knew this too, as he had been warned ahead of time by the sandaime himself of the impending raid. And made it look like the aging former Hokage failed to kill the Sannin due to a sense of fatherly-based sentimentality. The ANBU that had been killed in that room had made it all the more real in believing that was the case. In fact, the dead ANBU in that room were the only ones capable of sensing the deception the two played, and would have reported it to Minato had any of them been allowed to live. Naruto looked around. The place was dusty. No one had been here for so many years, and he could thank the sandaime along with his godparents for that. The security seals on the home kept any intruders from entering, and Naruto would bet his whisker marks that many had tried within the hour of the Yondaime's death. Only someone of Namake's or Uzumaki blood could enter from what Naruto saw of the seal designs all over the house. Though it seemed a last-minute modification was made before the Kyuubi attack, as the seals had been designed to only accept blood from the rightful person doing it of their own volition, and was determined by the chakra put into the seal with the blood. Since Naruto's chakra had been influxed during most of his horrible childhood due to Kurama, any such attempt to use him with his blood would have failed. And no doubt anyone with the desire to raid this home would have to wait until around this time when it was even remotely possible. I have a lot to do here and not enough time, thought Naruto while seeing a picture of his parents on a piece of furniture with some other pictures. Some showing Yandame with his teacher, his students, and of course of Kushina herself. There was even one where she was strangling the man during one of her violent mood swings late into her pregnancy. In all likelihood, Naruto would venture a guess that his mother was blaming his father for getting her pregnant and looking like a beached whale. Ah yes. I remember that one. I could hear Kushina yelling at Minato for over an hour and hearing him crying out in pain from the vicious beating she gave that day, said Kurama while letting out an amused chuckle knowing the great Yandame Hokage was reduced to a whimpering mess by his pregnant wife. Any ideas on how to clean this up faster, thought Naruto after focusing on the task at hand to clean up this place. I say the shadow clone jutsu. It's a good thing Itachi knew how to use that jutsu for when he wanted you to multitask in your training regiment with him, said Kurama with Naruto smirking at him. Did you just compliment an Uchiha? Thought Naruto with a grin on his face, and the fox just growled at him. You're never going to let me live that one down, are you? Said Kurama with Naruto letting out a chuckle. Nope, thought Naruto with the fox grumbling about how his vessel had him by the balls, and it wasn't fair while Naruto ignored him to make shadow clones of himself. A knock came to the door and Naruto answered to see Inuzuka Hana with another older woman, who Naruto could easily guess was the younger woman's mother. And he also had an idea of what they were here to see him about. Not surprising since Hana would have gone directly home and told the Inuzuka matriarch everything that happened in that alley. Namikaze Naruto I presume, said the Inuzuka matriarch, though she could tell it was him since only a Namikaze could enter this clan home. You presume correct. I presume you are Inuzuka clan's matriarch and Hana's mother, said Naruto seeing the woman smirk at him in an almost wolfish manner. That's correct. My name is Inuzuka Tsume. Can we come in? Said Tsume with Naruto nodding before letting the two into his home. It's a little dusty still, since I just came home to clean, so my apologies in advance if your noses become irritated from the dust or various smells lingering within the house, said Naruto while walking into the living room to find the army of shadow clones had done a terrific job. It's no problem. I'm surprised you can make shadow clones or know how to clean, given you're so young, said Tsume with her and Hana watching the army of Narutos working to make the place shine. The shinobi monks at the fire temple were excellent teachers, said Naruto, which was true, and had done many hours of cleaning like the other shinobi monks at the temple. I bet. Listen, the reason I'm here is because I wanted to thank you for saving Hana from the horrible act those pigs were about to do, and the overall shame the village would have made her face, said Tsume with Naruto looking confused and Hana squirmed a bit with nervousness. I don't understand, said Naruto seeing Tsume nod since he was young and did not fully understand the politics of clans within Konoha and their connection to the village. I'll explain. Had Hana suffered through that, the Jounin along with his Chunin buddies would have no doubt done more than just defile her body. They would have gone after her spirit and honor by telling a perverting truth of what they did to the village with all sorts of rumors spreading soon after. People would have called her a whore, a bitch in heat, and other vile names. With the rumors getting so far out of control I would be forced to exile Hana from the clan, said Tsume sadly. She would be ostracized for something that wasn't true, yet the people believed was, and anyone that saw through the rumors would be in the minority. She would be alone with no real way to help your daughter being remotely possible and her rapists laughing at her expense regardless if they were punished in the end, said Naruto seeing Tsume nod. Yes. From Hana has told me, you heard them accuse the Inuzuka clan of having sired submissive women, and need to be dominated to be kept in place. That's a lie. I don't know if you chose to believe anything they said in their drunken state, but all Inuzuka women have always been proud, and strong members of the clan, said Tsume with Naruto nodding in agreement. I don't doubt it. Hana showed a great deal of defiance and courage against them. If that's not strength, then I don't know what is, and neither does the Leaf Village if they were to do what you say they would have done if those rapists succeeded, said Naruto with the Inuzuka clan matriarch nod firmly at that statement. I intend to see those that lived suffer greatly for this. Until then, I have a favor to ask of you, and promise it will be repaid if accepted, said Tsume with Naruto looking a tad bit interested while Hana protested. Mom. I'm not a child. I'm a grown woman, said Hana, though it fell on deaf ears. You are a growing teenager Hana, said Tsume while glaring slightly at Hana. What is the favor, said Naruto, curiously. I was hoping you could be an extra pair of eyes and use those skills of yours to protect Hana from any future harm. Many don't know this, but Inuzuka women are considered a prize to perverted men, who wish to claim they bagged one in a sexual romp, and all that horrible mess I mentioned earlier," said Sum with Hana blushing slightly while trying to hide her embarrassment and needing her mother's ask for help on this matter. "That might prove difficult. I am here because the Fire Daimyo wishes me to review the leaf by the Chunin exams being hosted in Konoha this year. From what I've seen so far from this one day, the village doesn't have much time left, and your problem will resolve itself when the Fire Daimyo decides to liquidate the leaf," said Naruto with both Inuzuka women looking shocked by this news. "But you've only been here one day," said Hana with Naruto looking at her and then at Sum. "True. However, I have already seen and heard enough to tell the Fire Daimyo the leaf's end is coming soon regardless if I stay for another week. You can't possibly tell me that life in Konoha has been great for everyone after my father died all those years ago?" said Naruto, seeing Sum and Hana looking at each other before looking back at him. "Will you do what you can in helping Hana?" said Sum with Naruto looking at her, then at Hana, and then back at the Inuzuka clan head. "I'll do what I can, Sum-san, but like I said before, my time is limited," said Naruto with Sum nodding and getting up from her seat with Hana doing the same. "That's all I ask, Naruto-san," said Sum with Naruto getting up to escort the two out of his home. "You can gain a great deal of political favor from this," said Kurama, knowing that one clan backing Naruto could lead to others if his cards were played right. "I know, Kurama. But I can't concern myself with that right now. I need to get settled here and then work on furthering my investigation regarding the Sandame's actions since that night. Not to mention any and all conspirators he may have had in my suffering," thought Naruto while assisting his shadow clones in cleaning up the place. Several days later, the Sandame watched Naruto going through all the mission scrolls C-ranked and higher, given out the previous few weeks to various teams. The councils had been infuriated that the boy was untouchable by the Fire Daimyo, and the civilian council called for some manner of protest be made against the feudal lord in the belief their actions would force the man to listen to them. The Hokage told them it wasn't possible, as the Fire Daimyo was not a spineless man, and Konoha was a small dot on the map of Fire Country. In short, they would have to put up and shut up about this action, for the moment anyway. As for Naruto, he was doing an inquiry into all missions given recently, and questioning the Hokage's judgment regarding the qualifications of those sent to complete them. So far, the boy had found little in the ways of fault on who went where for what missions. But when Naruto picked up a C-ranked mission where Genin Team 7 was sent to Wave Country to escort an old man there, and saw the special seal to make it classified added recently below under the mission parameters changes before unsealing it. Warning, urgent message from Jounin Sensei Hitaki Kakashi. Leader of Genin Team 7 tells the mission has encountered enemy shinobi of A-rank caliber hired by Gato of Gato Shipping Co. The mission is now A-rank and Jounin Sensei is requesting backup from Konoha to reinforce Genin 7 immediately. Eyeing the date of this change being received, Naruto's eyes widened, seeing the Jounin's message had reached the Hokage nearly a week ago. And there was no indication of the Genin team in Wave Country getting their much-needed backup. If Team 7 and the client weren't dead already, they soon would be if their foe would see to it soon. But why? Why not send backup to Team 7? Surely the Hokage had a team to spare that was more than capable of helping them. So, why? Going over the original mission assignment, Naruto saw the names Genin Team 7, and his eyes looked over the three names. A boy named Sai with no name, one Haruno Sakura, and, what? It couldn't be? Uchiha Sasuke? Itachi's younger brother. "Oh no. You're going to rescue the Uchiha brat, aren't you?" said Kurama, but he knew the reason already, and only because the boy on Team 7 was Itachi's little brother. "If I don't, then the Uchiha will die, and Itachi will suffer for it. I can't let that happen," thought Naruto with Kurama nodding in agreement. "Fine. But for the record, if this kid is some brooding emo who wants power and acts like the world owes him everything, I am going to be so pissed off," said Kurama, as he felt Naruto smirk. And knew how the fox hated the Uchiha clan for the most part. "Me too, Kurama," thought Naruto before taking the mission scroll and heading out the door with a surprised Sandame calling out for him to stop. Naruto didn't have the time nor patience to deal with the old Kage at this moment. Itachi sighed internally while trying to remain calm and his mind centered while this meeting with his father dragged on with the man. Ever since the Uchiha clan prodigy came home, he had been hounded each day with a meeting by his sire, and wanting to know how much influence the clan had with the Fire Daimyo. It was the same old thing every day with that man. Does the Uchiha clan have the daimyo's ear? Will he listen to you if a suggestion is made? What did you teach the Kyubi Jinchuriki? Where did you teach the Kyubi Jinchuriki? It was all the same. Fugaku himself wasn't exactly thrilled his eldest was training the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, as he felt the boy's continued existence had been the source of the Uchiha clan's scorn by certain members of Konoha's government, and had wished the boy killed on more than one occasion. Up until 5 years ago when everything changed. Originally, Fugaku had planned for the Uchiha clan to perform a coup against the third Hokage and take control of Konoha to right the injustice placed upon them. However, the scandal regarding the Kyuubi Jinchuriki had placed the Sandaime in such a bad light that taking over would earn the Uchiha clan scorn from the Fire Daimyo and put him the crosshairs of the feudal lord's wrathful hand. If the village was going to be liquidated, then Fugaku was going to let it happen while waiting for the rebuilding to start, and then humbly nominate himself to be new Kage of Neo Konoha. Tell me, Itachi. Tell me the Uchiha clan is favored by what you've done in teaching the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, said Fugaku eagerly, as he wanted an answer from his eldest of his progeny, and saw Itachi keeping any form of emotion from his face. He has a named father. Call him by it, said Itachi, as he saw Fugaku scowling at him, and knew his father did not want to even call Naruto by his name. What did you teach Naruto? Said Fugaku with the man trying his hardest to say boy's name and even remembering it. Nothing you need concern yourself with, father. I didn't reveal any secrets regarding the Sharingan, said Itachi, though technically he did in regards to countering the Sharingan with the help of the shinobi monks at the fire temple using the basic principle behind the Sharingan requiring eye contact from the enemy to work properly. Don't look at the Sharingan and its powers can't work on you. What about the Fire Daimyo? Is he impressed with what you've done? Impressed with the power of the Uchiha clan, said Fugaku, seeing Itachi look away from him. He is impressed with me, father. Not the Uchiha clan. Apparently his opinion of the Uchiha clan is barely higher than the Sandaime Hokage at the moment, and I think we both know why, said Itachi before looking back at his father with cold and narrowed eyes. And what does that mean? Said Fugaku while losing whatever patience he may have had with his eldest. You know what I'm talking about, father. The night of the Kyuubi's attack, you along with mother were not around, and we both know why. Do not insult my intelligence. I am well aware of what you did that night. Who you met that night. You only brought mother along with you in the off chance he would wish for his payment to be her body, said Itachi at his father, who scowled at him, but kept his mouth shut. And it was a good thing too, since Naruto entered the room. We need to talk, Itachi. It's about your younger brother, said Naruto, which got him the attention of both Uchiha in the room, and tossed Itachi the mission scroll. What? What happened to Sasuke? Said Fugaku, as he had focused on Sasuke ever since Itachi left to train the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and hoped to get 2 prodigal offspring to help bring further greatness to the Uchiha clan. Ever since Itachi left to train Naruto, the younger of the 2 siblings was trying harder with each passing day to get out of his older brother's shadow and not be referred to as Itachi's little brother all the time. Sasuke had tried to get in contact with Itachi, but he had no way of knowing where the man had gone, and Itachi himself didn't send any kind of message to Konoha for anyone to read. Their father didn't care at the time, as he kept on praising Itachi and giving some slight positive comments to Sasuke every so often, though many would compare it to giving the clan head's youngest progeny scrapes if compliments were food. Probably because Sasuke had yet to activate his Sharingan to become a true member of the Uchiha clan like all those before him had done. Are you certain a team wasn't sent to back them up? Said Itachi, though even he knew the answer right way since the Hokage would have added another scroll to this with the names of the team sent to support Team 7. I'm sure. And I know the reason why the Sandaime didn't send reinforcements, said Naruto, seeing Itachi narrow his eyes in understanding. To make Sasuke activate his Sharingan eyes, said Itachi, seeing Naruto nod, though they didn't understand why the Sandaime would do that. We need to go if we're going to save him and the others on the team, said Naruto with Itachi nodding. No, you're not. I will not have my son ordered around by the likes of you, said Fugaku with his Sharingan eyes active and moved to force the Jinchuriki out of his home. Had Itachi not knocked the clan head through the wall and sent Fugaku flying out of his own home? Stay down, father. You will only embarrass yourself further, said Itachi, seeing how father was glaring at him. You will pay for this insult, Itachi. You and that Jinchuriki are not welcome in this house so long as I'm the Uchiha clan head, said Fugaku, seeing Itachi looking like he didn't care, and the same went for Naruto too. We all pay sooner or later. The question is always when, said Naruto to himself, and Itachi with the Uchiha agreeing with him. We might need a medic for this mission, said Itachi, knowing having one on this would increase the chance of saving the lives on Team 7 and their sensei. Shizune won't mind if we recruit her for this. Tsunade's been hounding her ever since we returned to Konoha, said Naruto, knowing Shizune had been avoiding Tsunade like the Sannin was a walking epidemic. With that in mind, the two went to recruit Shizune, and the three soon left after Naruto explained the situation to her about the abandoned Genin team. This was all for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it and that you will be back for more. Please like, share and subscribe. See ya.